There is a quiet mystery that shadows every life, a presence we sense yet rarely confront: death. We speak its name with caution, as if saying it aloud might summon an end we cannot grasp. Yet, beyond fear and habit, death is not a final silence. It is a transformation, a subtle shift in the currents of existence, a hidden rhythm flowing through everything we touch and every moment we inhabit. Life and death are not enemies, but partners in an endless dance, like a river merging with the sea, its waters changing form, yet never disappearing. Imagine for a moment a leaf drifting on a stream. Its journey seems fragile, finite, yet every drop of water it touches carries its energy onward. Death works the same way. What seems to vanish merely disperses, influencing the world in ways unseen, shaping patterns we cannot fully perceive. Across cultures, sages and poets have hinted at this continuity. The phoenix rises from its ashes, the river flows into oceans, seasons change and life persists. In each case, endings conceal beginnings, disappearance harbors transformation, and what we fear as loss becomes a doorway into understanding. To meet death without fear is to glimpse life as it truly is, a series of cycles, a web of interconnected moments. Each breath, each heartbeat, each fleeting thought is part of a continuum stretching far beyond the confines of our perception. Death is not a sudden stop, but a gentle turning, an invitation to recognize impermanence and connection. By seeing it this way, we can live more fully, act with clarity, and embrace the present with awareness. The unknown ceases to be a threat and becomes a horizon of possibility, a mirror reflecting the beauty and depth of existence itself. In the sections ahead, we will explore the themes, symbols, and practical insights of this idea, discovering how death, misunderstood, shapes life, meaning, and consciousness in ways that are both subtle and profound. To see that death isn't what we think is to shift the lens through which we view existence. Life and death are not opposites, but threads in a single tapestry, woven together by continuity and change. We perceive life as presence and death as absence, yet the cosmos suggests a different story. Everything flows, transforms, and returns in new forms. Death is not the end of energy or essence. It is a reconfiguration, a subtle transformation that sustains the invisible patterns connecting all things. Time itself, often seen as a straight line, reveals its illusory nature. Endings feel sharp because we measure them against linear perception, but in reality, life is more like a spiral or a wave. Just as a tree sheds leaves in autumn, only to bloom again in spring, every death carries within it a hidden form of renewal. This impermanence, far from being tragic, is essential. It teaches that beauty, presence, and meaning exist precisely because moments are fleeting. Fear of loss dissolves when we recognize that transformation is the natural order, not an enemy to resist. Perception and reality are another guiding principle. We often fear death because we see it only through limited senses and cultural constructs. Yet much of existence occurs beyond our immediate grasp. Death may appear final, but unseen continuities ripple outward, shaping life in subtle ways. To accept this is to cultivate humility, understanding that human perspective is only a fragment of a far larger whole. Interconnection is the final theme. Nothing exists in isolation. Every life touches countless others, and every passing leaves echoes in the wider web. Influence, memory, and energy persist beyond form, reminding us that significance is measured not in duration but in resonance. By recognizing these themes, continuity, impermanence, perception, and interconnectedness, we gain a foundation to see death not as an abrupt end, but as a natural, sustaining force. Symbols and stories reveal truths that our rational minds often overlook. Take the phoenix, for instance. Its fiery death and rebirth are not merely myth, they mirror the natural cycles in which endings carry the seeds of beginnings. When a life ends, it may seem extinguished, yet its influence, energy, and connections ripple outward, reshaping the world in ways that cannot be measured. Death, like the phoenix's flame, transforms rather than annihilates. The river offers another insight. Life moves like flowing water, winding through countless tributaries and obstacles. Death is not a barrier, but the merging into the ocean, a broader, unseen current where individuality blends into continuity. To resist it is to struggle against the natural law. To embrace it is to witness the interwoven design of existence. Even grief can be understood in this light. Mourning is not only about absence, but about recognizing that what has passed continues in transformed ways, touching other lives and echoing across time. Consider also the garden that blooms and withers in cycles. Flowers fade, seeds fall, and decay nourishes new life. Death is the soil that allows the next bloom, the hidden rhythm sustaining creation. In the human experience, loss can function similarly. The passing of form opens space for reflection, understanding, and growth. It teaches us to live with presence, compassion, and awareness of the impermanence that defines all things. Even the night sky whispers this lesson. Stars burn brightly, collapse, and scatter elements that seed new worlds. Death is not the end of influence. It is dispersion, a subtle participation in a cosmic continuity. These symbolic narratives invite us to see endings as transformations, shadows as teachers, and disappearance as a prelude to renewal. By engaging with these stories, we cultivate a lens through which death is no longer an enemy, but a guide, showing us the intricate dance of life, loss, and ongoing creation. It is in these patterns that we discover continuity, connection, and the profound meaning that lies hidden beneath apparent endings. Understanding death as transformation changes the way we inhabit life. When we see endings as shifts rather than terminations, our choices gain clarity. Everyday moments, conversations, acts of kindness, the attention we give to small details take on new significance. By embracing impermanence, we can let go of unnecessary attachment and fear, finding freedom in presence. We begin to notice the subtleties that often pass us by, the warmth of sunlight on our skin, the delicate patterns of leaves in a gentle breeze, the quiet laughter that lingers long after a moment has passed. These small observations, once overlooked, take on profound meaning as we recognize life as a living, breathing web of transformation. Grief transforms under this awareness. When someone departs, the pain of absence remains, but it carries lessons, the recognition that influence, memory, and energy persist beyond the physical form. Mourning becomes a practice of honoring continuity, a conscious participation in the ongoing flow of life. Even our routines and daily interactions become infused with meaning. Breathing, walking, working, creating. They are not merely survival, but contributions to the vast web of existence. We begin to see that every act, no matter how small, leaves echoes that reach beyond what we can perceive, touching lives, shaping experiences, and threading into the fabric of time itself. This understanding encourages patience, compassion, and attentiveness in the way we move through the world. Facing mortality encourages courage. Knowing that transformation is inevitable allows us to live authentically without clinging to illusions of permanence. We take risks, pursue passions, and engage with honesty, for the fear of ending no longer paralyzes us. Ethical responsibility, compassion, and stewardship of the world grow naturally from this perspective. The more we perceive the subtle interconnections around us, the more our choices align with sustaining and enriching life itself. We begin to embrace imperfection, understanding that flaws, mistakes, and endings are not failures, but integral components of growth, teaching us resilience and the value of experience. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen our presence and strengthen our engagement with life. In essence, recognizing death as transformation turns awareness into practice. We live with deeper presence, act with thoughtful intention, and see the ephemeral not as loss, but as opportunity. Every heartbeat, every fleeting moment becomes a chance to contribute, resonate, and participate consciously in the eternal flow. In this awareness, life itself becomes luminous, meaningful, and profound. Death is no longer an enemy. It is a quiet companion, revealing the beauty, depth, and continuity of being, guiding us to live fully with wonder, courage, and presence. And in embracing this perspective, we awaken to a subtle, enduring joy. The knowledge that our lives, like rivers, merge into something greater, a continuous unfolding that stretches beyond beginnings and endings, inviting us to move with grace, awareness, and reverence in every passing moment.